G'day everyone, I'm AzureBlaze, and by the time this video is released, it has been over 4 months since the Wii U's eShop closed down. Since that point, a fair amount has happened. However, I wanted to have a look back at some more games I used to play on previous consoles, and I thought the Wii U would be a great place to start. As before, with my previous ranking video on the PlayStation 2, I'm going to keep this list to one game per series, as it allows me to break up the variety of games for it. A note before starting as well, if any of the games on the list have like a Switch port or anything like that, sometimes I'll use the footage from that version, as I already have some that I can use, and the games look almost the same anyway. Therefore, yeah, sometimes they'll have a little bit of different HUD elements and other small details. However, for the most part, yeah, they look fairly similar. And I have that footage readily available, therefore I shall use that. However, with that all out of the way, here is my top 5 Wii U games. Number 5, Mario Kart 8. Being preloaded on the system itself, Mario Kart 8, along with another, was one of the first games I played on the Wii U. Whilst realistically, this game has been superseded by its Switch version, this was both the original version I played, and I do not feel the Deluxe edition would end up on a similar list of Switch games due to the variety of games I have played on that system alone. Onto the game itself. It was probably the most polished Mario Kart experience obtainable before its re-release on the Wii U's successor. It features amazing looking tracks, with smooth gameplay and a half decent amount of content, especially when taking into consideration its DLC, of which introduced other series characters such as the Animal Crossing villagers, and my character of choice, Link, to the game. Overall, I feel Mario Kart 8 was a great game to have on the system when my family bought it back in 2017. Number 4, Nintendo Land. The only game on the primary list to not have a port or sequel on the Switch, Nintendo Land is a series of minigames set up in a theme park style where everything is based around Nintendo and its intellectual properties. Each game is split up both by the number of players that can join and the type of gameplay, whether it be team, competitive, or solo attractions. Each minigame has a distinct flair that shows off its inspiration whilst making one feel they are playing through a Nintendo theme park. A fair amount of them as well incorporate asymmetrical multiplayer, allowing the gamepad user to have a different or opposing experience to the players with Wii remotes. I think my favourite of the minigames is the Zelda-themed Battle Quest, where 1 to 4 players can dress like Link and battle through waves of stand-in enemies. Overall, I feel this one is simply quite fun, and is quite a strong entry to play with multiple people. Hopefully Nintendo Land comes to other systems in the future, however, as that may be a little bit difficult, I hope it gets a sequel with a deal of new minigames to play. Number 3, Super Mario Maker. I'm quite a big fan of building games like Minecraft, and I as well have an affinity for game development and generally like playing the games from the Mario series. Therefore, Mario Maker was quite an enticing game for myself. I spent a bunch of time making different levels, most usually puzzle levels and tough platforming levels. And whilst its sequel has more features, and I think I've probably put many more hours into it, the original in my opinion is unmatched in its overall building experience. I feel it is almost the perfect game for the Wii U, as building on the tablet screen with the stylus before moving to the TV felt quite fluid overall, and the little interactable details and Nintendo charm put into almost everything was always a fun way to make building stages simply quite fun. Overall, I think Mario Maker was an amazing idea for a game on the Wii U. With its control method and a fun way to make levels for others to play, it has become one of my favourite games on the system itself. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Whilst most will probably see this as a Switch game first, my primary experience with the game was on the Wii U, of which I have finished the main story of on that platform. Because I played it mostly on the Wii U, I tend to always remember it more as a Wii U game. However, I do own a copy and have done a fair chunk in a Master Mode playthrough on my Switch. In saying that, I do not think I ever would have decided to do that without the number of hours I poured into it on the Wii U game first. It was a massive game for myself and my family alike. It was the first Zelda game I finished, and the one that fully got me into the series. It was thanks to it that my excitement for Tears of the Kingdom was as high as it was, to the point where I bought the special edition Switch. It was as well the primary reason I wanted to convince my parents to buy a Wii U, of which we got quite close to when the game released. Overall, I think Breath of the Wild is an amazing open world game. It innovated on a huge amount of things, and it is difficult to believe that it is over 6 years old during the recording of this video. Before getting to the final game, I'm going to quickly run through some honourable mentions that I have. Sonic Lost World is a game that I understand many do not enjoy. However, I feel, personally, I enjoy it quite a bit. The main reason it is not on this list is because I have never played the Wii U version, only the PC version. One day I do indeed intend to play the Wii U version, as I would like to have a look at the Yoshi and Zelda DLC that I luckily downloaded before the closure of the eShop. Mario 3D World was a game that I played to 100% completion with my brother and sister. However, I did that on the Switch version. As the Wii U version is the original, I thought I shall at least mention it here, as I think it is a great game overall. Wind Waker HD is a game that I have never finished. However, I do plan on playing through it fully at one point in the future, as it is a really fun game. I think it was more that I never got back to it, or if I did, I could not remember what I was doing, which was a problem I tended to have with Zelda games probably the most out of any games during my younger years. Publix World is a game that if I had played it at all, would probably be on this list. However, as I would like to play through the games on the 3DS first, I have not gotten up to it yet. With my experience with the 3DS games, however, I feel it could rank quite highly on this list, as I generally quite enjoy that style of puzzle game. That is as well the main reason I don't have any footage on screen of it right now, is because I haven't played it. I don't know what game's going to be there, it'll be something pretty random and funny. However, on to number 1. Number 1, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. The other game preloaded on the system, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, without looking at the data, is probably myself and my family's most played game on the console. I think the only one that may be higher is Breath of the Wild, however, again, I would have to check. Even without the amount played, it was a huge game for my family from the beginning. However, after the release of Smash Bros. Ultimate, it became larger for us again, as this was the newest Smash Bros. Game we owned until I bought a Switch 2 years later, in 2019. In the end, it was almost as if any excitement that we got from Ultimate, we directed towards the Wii U version of the game. Whilst at the time we owned Brawl on the Wii as well, this is the entry where we begin to learn how to truly play the game, understanding the different type of attacks, strategies, and general nuances. This game as well set up the main characters I would generally play as going forward. Icon Sonic stuck from when I played Brawl, however I became quite accustomed to using Greninja, Cloud, Pikachu, and my overall main, Link, in the Wii U. Whilst like many others on this list, the game has since been superseded by its successor, making Wii U feel somewhat slow in comparison, in my opinion. However, it has a huge place in my gaming past, quite possibly being one of the catalysts of my interest in the topic of gaming history in general. And with that, that is my top 5 games from the Wii U, if we're not including multiple from a series at the very least. I understand that all of the games on the main list are Nintendo made, however I realized whilst making this video that I used to have a really bad habit of beginning games and never finishing them, something I think I have gotten much better at not doing in the present day. However, for now, I believe that is all from me. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, thank you for watching, and I shall be back in the next one. Cheers everyone!